collaborating no matter what model we have. I have a Oculus Go somewhere, which we probably could have thrown in here. I don't know if it would have worked. And then also the One version, that would have been a neat experiment. But we're going to tell you that as it is, we went through quite a lot of experimenting to get this setup that we have. So we'll talk a little bit about that. For now, and what we're using is interesting. We are using the work groups workplace. So this is the Oculus Workplace beta. Is that right, Nick? Beta? That's right. The workplace.com is part of the URL there. And the way we did that was, well, it's just an app inside the Oculus, but then you pair that with a service on their website, and you are able to add people to that, and you can copy the link and just have people come in from from a physical world into the room, right? To add to that, we are setting up, we have StreamYard, and this is what it looks like on my screen. I don't think you're seeing my screen anymore, but what I can do is pretty neat. I can actually come to the share screen, and I'm going to take a risk here and share my screen, and you see on the big board over there what we look like right now. Christian, I just realized that I'm blocking your view because of how we're sitting. So that's because this is how we're looking to everyone. Yard is able to see us. So now we're going to go and draw our setup so that everyone can kind of understand what we got. But at the same time, you're starting to see sort of how you can use this to collaborate. Somebody put a sticky up there that says hello. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get up. I'm going to hit this icon that I have here. I'm going to move, and I'm going to go to the board. And that board is next to me in my physical room. And I'm going to confirm. And when I do that, now I'm standing up. But that was one of the technical problems we have. We have a proportion problem here. I could probably fix it by resizing myself somehow, resetting the room for me. But we didn't want to take a risk and reset everything after the progress that we made. So, Nick, Christian, you guys want to move up here? I don't know if you're able to stand, Christian, depending on your physical setup. But Nick and I were able to come before and do this. So, Nick, you wanna meet me here? There you are. Hello, Nick. How are you, Nick? All right. So now this feels really weird because Nick is like all the way down there. So let's draw real quick our setup. And to do that, I'm going to use the back of the remote, which we can use as a marker. And what we have is we have a table set up. Uh-oh. Nick, you're able to draw, right? I am not for some reason.
Oh, I'm able to over here. Is it because of me?
Yeah, I was before, and now I'm not. Okay, now I am. No, I think it wasn't deep enough for it to pick up where the board was. I'm literally, this is kind of neat because I'm kind of writing on my glass door right here, right now, like physically touching it. Yeah. Go ahead and draw a headset, and let's give people an idea on what kind of setup we've got going on. Christian, you want to draw one over here? I don't know how far I can move.
I can do that.
And then now to be able to show you what I see, now you're seeing the room. And by the way, these rooms are all configurable. They're quite a number of choices. Nick chose this one because he's cold up north and wanted to feel the warmth of Miami, I guess. So you see the room that we have set up, and in order for you to see my perspective, right? we had to do, oh, wow, this is going to be interesting. We had to do, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my, I'm going to reset my room. And in order to do that, I can just grab, uh, what happened? Whoa, 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 whoa. I did not want to do that. Return to whiteboard. Ah, got it. Okay. Reposition. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is it. Tricky one. Tricky, tricky. Okay. Or it's past my wall. So now I can draw very easily. Before I couldn't draw because I drew the board position past my glass door. And because it was glass, it was see-through, it allowed me to do that. So I had to go really hard on the glass in order to get any sensing. Now I can just easily draw, right? Okay, so we got 3 headsets. That's perfect. And if you see, in order for you to see what I'm seeing right now, I had to do what's called casting. I had to cast from the Oculus. I am casting to my machine. And then I had to connect to StreamYard, which is a service that we use to broadcast to you guys, meaning all the viewers. So I took my casting and I am sharing it in StreamYard. But we also at the desk, you see Christian is working on his computer. You see that little lid that is there? And Nick has a little shaded thing. That's literally his computer. Now I can't see it for privacy purposes. It wouldn't show it to me if I went behind Christian. But he's able to see a very clear monitor.
Yes.
And that is being done through the Meta application on their respective laptops. So here is the Meta application. That could have worked just as well off the phone, and the same for casting. But now through the Meta app, you're able to see in this physical room these things that are going on there. Carlos, and that is over here as well. So everybody's got a connection. Now, Nick, you're not casting, are you? You're not casting. You just have the Meta app connected, and so does Christian, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that should have said Ernesto, but I went too big on it. Apparently that's the theme today. And then Christian's over here. Right?
Yep.
We'll put a C, we'll put an E here, and I was able to fit Nick's holding there. And everybody is connected to the Meta app, but everybody's got their own instance. I don't want to give the impression that the Meta app is necessary for everybody to collaborate. This is over here. This is just to be able to see your screen on your computer.
And
Think of this as a
I'm pretty
laptop.
sure even PC users like Carlos over here can share his screen even if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good point, Christian.
So there's a lot of autonomy for these types of meetings, even if you don't have a headset. So you could still join, like Carlos here, where it still shows your webcam.
Yeah,
the
Carlos
screen
could
can
share
see
his screen right
necessarily.
now, and we could see those, right?
Yes,
It's just that
I think
Carlos
so.
is only sharing his video. That's a good point. The Yeah. What's your experience, Christian?
I think it's a very similar one. I question why people are reluctant to kind of move to this, because you definitely need someone who is able to host it. So, like you right now, but it's a little bit more, I guess, difficult for people to come on board when they already have services like Zoom and whatnot. So, kind of the extra hassle of what we're going through right now just really like isn't appealing until everyone actually has a headset in their hand, or it's like more publicly used.
Yeah. So having like, for example, Carlos right now, who is in a flat screen, it's definitely shortchanging him, right? Because I feel a lot closer to you. I literally feel like you're sitting next to me,
Hmm.
and Nick, like we are at an offsite almost. We are, I feel like I traveled and met with you guys, even though, of course, you look cartoonish, you look 3D rendered, you don't look like the real person. I
Hmm.
feel that I am connecting with you in a social environment. But I don't feel that way with Carlos. Maybe because we're jaded by the flat screens at this point. I feel like I'm in a meeting with Carlos. I don't feel like I'm in a social setting with him.
Hmm.
Also, it's a little uncomfortable for me. So we're here for 30 minutes. We scheduled this for 30 minutes, and we've got 5 more minutes. But I got to be honest, I'll be relieved to take my headphones off when it's over because I get to breathe better. It won't be heavy on my eyes. To use one of these for hours, I don't know how that would work. I know it won't work. It wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, and I think it's that barrier to entry that we were talking about before, like to have the opportunity to put on these headsets, you need to. I mean, now Quest 2 are becoming a lot more accessible with the price. Now they're about 250 dollars, but now the Quest 3, just to get that extra level of comfort, is $500 to kind of experience what we're experiencing. So to people who are more technologically inclined, I think it's definitely worth the transition, and like you can definitely appreciate that aspect. But if you're used to kind of just like the standard like desk and laptop, and you kind of use Zoom every once in a while, then maybe the future when you come out with the Quest 4, the Quest 5, when, like as Nick said, it's just a pair of goggles on your face, it will be a lot more convenient and accessible to kind of like the standard consumer.
Yeah, and since you're wearing the three, Christian, Nick and I are both um, complaining, I suppose, is I'm looking for a better word, but we're not as comfortable wearing it for a long time. How is the three? Can you wear it for a long time? You've had the two
So
before, and now you have the three. How do they compare in comfort?
So with the base strap that the 3 comes with, it's pretty uncomfortable, and for long periods of time, it does kind of like weigh down on the front part of your face. So I had to get a kind of a supplemental strap that distributes it across the back of my head, so I can use it for longer periods of time. So that's kind of a drawback that comes like with this. I mean, there's other headsets I know that they have like kind of what Nick is describing, like goggles, like, and it goes around like the Apple Vision Pro is similar to that. It's a little bit bigger, but you can kind of see that once you try to reduce the size, the price goes up like significantly to have access to this. And this is also Workrooms is only accessible to like Oculus users and not other services.
That's a great point. I don't know what's included it with the Apple Vision Pro. It's Big Room. One of
No,
the, it's not.
the Apple Vision Pro is very closed off in terms of like what you can do with it right now, and I think it's going to stay that way. So, in terms of like what third-party headsets are going to be available, Oculus kind of stands in between like a third-party headset and like an Apple Vision Pro in terms of what you could do with it. Exactly.
And that's a good point. So one of the things that I think is evident, we went through this to set up. We got the setup up there. We're having an experiment. It's a great novelty. I feel closer. I feel like we spend time, but I don't know about it being a collaboration a productive collaboration environment. Because if we're using Jira or maybe something as simple as Trello, we still need to go to that application, and that's not in this environment. I will need to share my screen, so it would feel awkward trying to use that 2D application in a 3D environment. So until there are native applications that could truly use this, being able to move stickies around or being able to visualize a 3D environment to collaborate using the tools that we use, I think that that's going to be a challenge. That's the next leap. What is the
I
application?
think I'm gonna kind of push back on that. I agree with a lot of your points, but when it comes down to it, like how we're talking right now, like even like your hand movements and like I could kind of see you talking, your head movements, like this is definitely, considering you're in Florida, I'm in New York, and Nick is in near Philadelphia, like this is the most immersed I think possibly I could be with someone like to that point. So when it comes to like really getting points across, like your hand motions are kind of like um what you're trying to describe, it says a lot more than like a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. At the end of the day, a Zoom call, you are just sharing your screen. But I think, like I said, it's kind of like there's glitches here and whatnot. Zoom is intuitive, and that's kind of what people can appreciate about it. But with like Nick said, like I think people, you have two class of headset users, and that's people who use it to play video games who are reluctant to use Facebook products, and then you have people who just entered the market and don't know how to use these products.
And that's a great point also that comes to mind. We're not confined to this room, right? The three of
Hmm.
us could go hang out somewhere else right now.
Hmm.
There are plenty of apps that would allow us to meet. It is a social platform device. So spending that time together could be meeting here where we're having a discussion and we're having some brainstorming. But it could also be about maybe getting in a poker room and having a little fun. So it could be outing for the team to just simply socialize and that everybody can see the whole room. Go ahead, please. Don't let me
To the
stop you.
standard, I have a very like beefy computer in terms of like how much it could process, but I've tried it on like a laptop, just like kind of like a standard laptop, and I could see how it would um kind of run it, like either kill the battery instantly or just adding screen like virtual screens that aren't there kind of slow down your laptop and like the programs you open, and it just adds like a lot of workload to it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult, but it is very nice if you have like a very nice laptop. Like you can just be out at like a cafe, minus how you would look putting on your Oculus, but you could be out at a cafe and have 4 or 5 screens around for your single laptop, and essentially have like this very comfortable productivity environment that you would have at home, but just out and about really. Well,
I got to tell you, I was at a restaurant slash bar the other day, and a guy walked in with his friend. This guy was not alone. He walked in with his buddy, and he was wearing the Vision Pro as he walked into the place, and he sat at the bar, and he was there doing all the hand gestures with the Vision Pro on at the bar while his friend was sitting next to it. It looked very socially awkward. I could tell he was having a great time, and of course, it was a new thing, a new product for him. So it's probably something that he didn't want to let go of. But in public, I think we got to get used to it, right? We did get used to the AirPods with everybody having little AirPods hanging out of their ears. Carlos is wearing one right now, and it's not weird anymore. So maybe we'll get used to it over time, right? Actually, I'll pass it over to Christian, who was more than gracious to attend on a quick invite. Christian, can we do the fist bump thing? I love how he did that thing. Let me see.
there you go,
Oh,
make some
that's
noise and everything.
amazing. I love that thing. Thank you for attending, Christian. Hopefully, this was worth
That was
your.
educational to me as well, and how far this really can go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like I spent time with you. I want to give you a virtual hug, but I literally don't know if that's possible.
We
Yeah,
might
no,
blow up if it if
that
all the
right, because the
sparks.
fist did it. So thank you, everyone. We will continue with our live streaming sessions. Look us up next week for our next hot topic. And